Alright guys, it's Ariel here, Miss Fitness International. I haven't really been on YouTube in a little while, but I figured I'd give you guys an update and we get started with some really good footage from Louis. We're at Revive Gym. Gonna train back today. We'll give you an overview about like what I've been doing and how my training's been, that kind of thing, after the workout, but let's get after it because I hate waiting around and I want to work out now, so let's go. So we're gonna do some lat pull downs. I was doing 2 back days, I still am, but sometimes I do a back day with a full hamstring day, which is what I was going to talk about at the end, but sometimes clips with questions in the middle is good too. So we're going to start off with some lat pull downs just to warm up. So this off season, it was kind of tough. I didn't think I put on a lot of weight, but when I first got this belt, I could barely get it on, so I'm proud that it's past the IFBB Pro at this point. My pants are somewhat falling off, so we're good. Okay. So for back, it took me super long to get strong and grow my back. I'm realistically built for wellness, like naturally. I'm really small on top and then my legs are will grow. Like I barely train legs. That's something I always talk about. I wish I could kind of train legs, but I would look like I have to do wellness, so we're not gonna do that. So it took me a very long time to grow my back and get strong, and I was pretty much doing that consistently since 2018. So we're going on like almost 4 or 5 years of that. So this takes time, and that's really what I'm trying to say. But we're still trying to get stronger. Like right now, that's stronger than, that's more than what I weigh right now. So I did kind of like a drop set on that one, but if I don't do more than 10 reps, I usually do a drop set. I really want to feel the muscle. I don't need to grow that much, so it's really about feeling the muscle. And like when I'm posing, what muscles are going to be showing, and that's what I try to emphasize in my training. So I don't really hit mid to lower back, because I don't need to get thicker. I just want to get wider so that my waist can look smaller, and that's what it's about. So let's go to some other exercise. There's a lot of equipment in here that I don't normally use, so I kind of want to take advantage of that. I really like lat pull downs specifically for back. Like sometimes I'll literally stay on the cable and do like 3 or 4 different types of pull downs. So this is just another type of pull down, but I don't have this specific piece of equipment in my gym, so we're gonna try it today. I try not to rush too much. I'm also just an impatient person. I don't think I've ever spoken about that on YouTube, actually. It's part of why I hate training with someone else. I really hate waiting for them. And I feel like I'm not working hard enough when I train with someone else, which is kind of funny because most people train with someone else to try to feel like they're working harder. So I guess maybe I haven't found the right training partner. Maybe that's the problem. Try to do for back is, or at least it works for me, is single arm stuff. So I'd say like more than, well, not more than 50, but about 50% of what I do for back is single arm, and I just feel so much better. The other thing is, I used to wear Beats headphones, so like when you actually go to reach, they actually, well for me, get in the way of my releasing my lats. So once I stopped using those, and I realized that had something to do with like actually the contraction of my lats and how much I was opening them up, that changed a lot. So I don't know if some people are doing that and not realizing it, but it will change a lot. And specifically when I wear headphones, it might turn my music off or change the music, and it's really annoying, but you got to work your back properly. So. Sometimes I don't know if I'm like working too fast, but when I have a drink, it forces me to drink. So
yeah,
it's either my drink or my second drink. But a little too much NO Explode from DSN, that'll just make me buzz out of the gyms. If you need that kind of pre-workout, definitely get NO Explode. All right. Not really sure what I'm going to do next, but we'll go explore the back side of the gym. So some of these like lay down machines, they're excellent, but when you're too short, I need like a booster seat. Well, actually, maybe I can do this now.
there you go.
Let's try it. Might as well. Maybe it's made for me. Let's
There
see.
you go.
We're just gonna see first. For someone who's an Arnold champion, I get intimidated by new gyms and new equipment. So don't feel like an amateur, because when you're not, you still feel that way. Well, regardless, my arms are still too on the short. This may be too heavy. Maybe not. Me, not a huge fan of going like overly heavy, because then I feel like you're definitely using your secondary muscles rather than, for me, like right now, my back. And I definitely don't need bigger arms. So let's lower the weight a little bit. These machines are sometimes deceiving. I do notice though, if I do like single arm stuff, I am somewhat stronger than if I do two arms. So, like this is two arms, so obviously I'm a little bit weaker, but it's also the angle, and it's not an easy machine to use. But I like doing different equipment when I can, because there's just different parts of your back that you're not hitting if you're not working with different equipment. I'm not saying it's bad to keep doing the same workout like over and over again, but while I'm here, I like to take advantage a little bit. That's a lot harder with 3 plates. Eventually, no carbs gets to you a little bit when you start lifting heavy. Then you're like, all right, I really don't have anything in the tank. So I guess because I train fast and it's just really the style of training that I do, it works for me. Sometimes, like I said in the beginning, I do 2 back days, so my back really doesn't need to be like more developed. It's really just hitting my lats. There's not tons of exercise you can just keep doing for back, and eventually I start getting weak and can't keep really doing more. So I've been adding a hamstring day on my second back days, and I call it like a full back day because we're gonna full posterior day. But we're not doing that today. I did that the other day. I think it was Tuesday. Today's Friday, so we're just gonna finish with a few more back exercises if we can find a cable. So usually I see a lot of people that start with this exercise or pull-ups. Actually, sometimes I'll start with pull-ups to warm up, but typically I'll end with this or pull-ups versus starting with it, because I feel like I'm kind of like burning the muscle out versus like when I do this to warm up, I don't really feel like I'm doing much, to be honest. So, but if that works for you, like, that's good. Keep doing what works for you. This exercise specifically, I don't have any kind of rep range. I usually keep dropping the weight, and I just like basically do it until I can't do it anymore, which is why I do it at the end too. I guess, yeah, this is something I always put in my back workouts. So this and lat pull downs is probably something I put in almost every back workout. I know I said it's good to switch things up, but typically what I do at the end is this, and I'll start with lat pull downs, usually in the beginning. My back is like pretty much destroyed at this point, but we're gonna end with some pull-ups, and then I'll probably do some handstands. And I like to do handstands a lot of times at the end of my shoulders or back days, because realistically, if I can do it when I'm that fatigued, then I can for sure do it on stage. And a lot of like the fitness girls, they probably have seen me doing that or heard me say that, because I notice a lot of them are saying they're doing that now. And I'm not saying like anybody's copied me or anything like that. I'm just saying like it really works. So that's why other girls are starting to do that as well. Obviously, for the average competitor, you're not doing fitness. You don't really need to worry about handstands and how well you're going to do them on stage. So it's kind of like my problem, you know. Parts of being a fitness competitor. So let's end with some pull-ups. Obviously, my pull-ups are going to be weak now at the end of my workout rather than if I started off with pull-ups in the beginning. Super done, guys. Super done. Let's go do some handstands, some talking, some stretching. So we're kind of just, honestly for me, from what I've seen from other competitors, I'm like kind of like easygoing as far as like my training, like how I manage my schedule. Like other people make it into like a very big deal, which is why I was probably able to work full-time job and get ready for the Arnold until this year, which is one of the biggest changes for me going into this Olympia, is that I'm actually not working. I have sponsorships that are honestly covering my bills at this point. I feel like I've worked this hard to get to where I am in fitness, and I'm not trying to say like I'm proud by any means that I'm like stepped away from my job, because it was very important to me to work. But I feel like if I don't take advantage of this right now, then one day I might have to go back to work. So like I might as well take advantage. And the biggest change is obviously that's a huge stress off my shoulders, that I don't have to get up and go to work, worry about my patients that I was doing in my audiology job. And Sleep is a huge factor. Like, I was not getting sleep before. There are days where like my sleep is kind of off, but I'm getting a lot more consistent sleep. As much sleep as actually I'm able to cut off one more meal from my plan. So instead of having 6 meals, this prep and actually most of my other preps, except for like one prep, I now have 5 meals. So that's a big difference for me. Food, as far as that goes, it's kind of the same. We do carb cycling, or I do carb cycling, a lot of no carb days, but there are days where I have like upwards of 400 grams of carbs. So I'm not starving myself, but there is a big carb cycling as far as no carbs to then like a high carb day. That's just a little overview. But while I do like stretching, I guess I'll talk about other stuff. Still working alongside Justin Jacoby. He's a good friend of mine. I asked him for help when I was going into the Arnold because I do realistically prep myself. And so like, even though I am like prepping myself, like he never gave me a full, like, here's your diet. Like, we work together. So I do use him as a guide. I check in with him. I never like lie to him. Like, everything is honest as far as like what I'm doing. So I cannot do this on my own. Like, and I came to that conclusion. I need someone to help me as far as just like taking that kind of stress off me, that like, hey, I'm not crazy. Like, what I see in the mirror, what I see in pictures, and what the scale is saying is not lying to me as far as an illusion or anything like that. It's very, very helpful to have somebody helping you, and I don't think anybody can really do it on their own. So with that being said, I do know my body the best. So when we first started prepping, I didn't really have any kind of like structured off-season diet realistically, and I didn't really know what I was eating. I was eating like high fat, high carbs, high protein, so I didn't know what the hell I was eating, to be honest. And I think I really needed that mentally. So physically and mentally, I needed that. But when I started dieting, and he actually did give me an initial like plan to follow, I was like, yeah, I've been eating so crappy, like I could eat this diet with carbs, fruit, like whatever was on it, fats, and I'll probably lose weight. And my diet caused me to gain weight. I think I actually put on some muscle like in term of that. And I was pretty much like, Justin, I'm not losing like any weight. And I knew I looked like shit, to be honest. And I bit the bullet and I sent him my photos. And I was at the point where like, honestly, I don't even know if I should get on the Olympia stage with how bad I look. So I was like, I think I need to do no carbs. And I would have probably did that like 4 weeks before, but whatever. We were where we were at about 16 weeks out. And I was honestly weighing 152, which for me is the heaviest I've ever been. And I would say it wasn't a good 152 because I've been off season before and I weighed like 150, but I was really jacked. And this time around, I just felt like fat blobs. So it was just not good. So honestly, where I'm at right now is pretty incredible considering where I was at. And a lot of that just had to do with putting my head down and working and dieting hard and cardio. Like it always is. The formula is the same this time around as it was last time. It's just my starting point was a little bit different because last time I just got off the Arnold and the Olympia in October, and then the Arnold again was March. So I didn't really have any break at all. So I was really lean when I started prepping. And my metabolism definitely took a crash because nothing was working. Like I was pretty much eating like the same thing, like almost no food, 2 or 3 hours of cardio, and I think I weigh less now at 7 weeks out than I did last time at 7 weeks out. So that's just saying a lot about like where my metabolism was at then versus now. Yeah, so it's been a road that I've had for the past. Started dieting at 21 weeks. We're at 7 weeks now. Big changes. I think I lost about 17 pounds, but we still have like at least a good 10 or 12 pounds to go. I'm in a good spot, but it's just a matter of keep the consistency going. I don't know how boring this is getting, but I really wanted to give you guys like a background of what's going on. As I get closer to the show, my training starts to get like, I want to say a little bit less intense, and I start training in the gym with weights slightly less. Right now it is a consistent 4 days a week for sure, sometimes 5, because I am doing 2 shoulder days and 2 back days. I do put legs like in and out of those days within sometimes it's on a back day, sometimes a separate day on its own. But as I get closer to the show, leg days start to really diminish a lot, and I really start to focus more on the routine. So still hitting heavy with weights right now, but I guarantee you that's going to start going down just slightly, and routine practice is going to go up a little bit. Not giving any information about the routine because everybody's giving me all kinds of, I want to say opinions on it, but the most important opinion are the judges, and after asking their opinion, I'm not gonna make myself crazy, and we're gonna terminate the competition, and we'll leave it at that, you know? So stay tuned though. It's gonna be different, so stay tuned on that. I'm gonna do some handstands, but we're not gonna do like a full-on routine practice or anything. Ooh. Oh, another big change is I used to train abs like all the time. I like never train abs now, and they're still doing okay.
Jeez.
That's definitely something that comes in first, my abs. So we'll have like fat on my butt and then shredded abs. But we're not doing wellness, so that's what the issue is. I have an issue with uneven floors. Like as soon as I get on stage, the first thing I do in the warm-up is map the floor, because if there's a spot on the floor that's uneven, I know for sure I'm not doing my hands up in that spot. Actually, at the Olympia in 2020, they put my nunchuck down on the wrong spot. And I started my routine and I was like, no. And then I screwed up my first handstand. Yeah. Routine practice is going to be today. But I have to do my handstands because that's crucial. Everything else I can pretty much do. Well, the thing is for fitness, if you can't do your routine in your sleep, like literally roll out of bed and do your routine, you're not going to be able to do that routine on stage, because when you're backstage, there is no warm-up. You're absolutely freezing cold, and they tell you you're up next. So if you can't do this cold and basically like half dead, you're not going to be able to do it on stage. The only time I really felt like I was probably going to get hurt was the 2021 Arnold. I've never felt like that crappy, honestly. Like could not point my toes, like my body was just completely trashed. And never again gonna deplete myself that hard to try to do a routine, because it's completely unsafe. Fitness is very unsafe. I'm not gonna say that it's not. And then the way that they have us, like I said, basically backstage, not warmed up and just getting out there, you have to be professional and know that you need to do this like half dead, otherwise you're never gonna be able to do it. So let me close out this video by saying thank you, Louie, for filming. And this is 7 weeks out. Hopefully this video will be out soon, and we'll keep you guys posted going into the Olympia, because it's a quick road ahead, even though we got the full-on 7 weeks to go. But stay tuned, because it's gonna be a good one. I'll tell you that much. Mentally, I'm in a really, really good place. I said this going into the Arnold. I might not ever win the Arnold, and I didn't care at that point. And I'm at the point where I might not ever win the Olympia, but I'm going to do every freaking thing I can to win that Olympia, and I won't stop until I do. And if I don't, then that's the way that the cookie crumbles. Which we're not eating cookies, but we will after the Olympia.
All right, guys, so basically at this point with where we're at in Ariel's prep, we're officially 7 weeks out as of today, because she competes on Friday. So what we've been doing pretty much for the last 8 to 10 weeks or so has been some pretty aggressive carb cycling, with her baseline regular days of being very low carbs. A lot of them have been no carb days, but every fourth day, so she would basically do 4 low days, and then we would fill up with like a really aggressive carb.
Like that definitely changes here and there, which is why I was saying there's nothing like super consistent. But on average, it is like 4 no carb days or extremely low carb days, and then up to a 400 gram refeed day, or even 2 of those days. Yeah, just really kind of depends.
Yeah, we started at 250. So
I think we started at 200. My body was just like, I was not losing weight, seriously.
Right, and the refeed days weren't adding enough back in. So like we're always looking to have like usually about 3 to 4 pounds of scale weight increase, so that way she's plenty full, and also her metabolism gets a nice bump from the food.
Honestly, I think the problem was off season. I wasn't doing anything consistent at all, and so some days I was eating like 1 meal and then going like basically eating like almost nothing, and then like some days I was eating a lot of calories, so a weekly calorie total was probably a lot less than I actually thought it was. So when we first started dieting, I mean, I was like probably eating way more calories, but just cleaner food. And so I put on weight, actually.
Yeah, the scale went up at the beginning of prep, but the look was still improving.
Yeah,
so it was almost kind of like her muscles basically just like soaked up food. Like, it really doesn't take much. Like, this girl can like grow muscle on like 1,200 calories. Like, it really doesn't make sense.
I will grow on 1,200 calories,
Yeah.
actually.
Her response to training, you know, and subs is like amazing. So with where we're at right now at 7 weeks out is arguably better than where we were when we started working together for the Arnold.
That's what I was saying, actually.
So, which is phenomenal. You know, we were
Yeah.
like 24 days out, like almost exactly 3.5 weeks out from the Arnold when we started, like when I started officially helping. And so I'm super happy with where we're at 7 weeks out. And I know I'm very confident we're going to be bringing an improved version of Ariel to the Olympia stage, and then she's going to do her thing with the routine, because obviously I don't do anything with that. And so, but you know, and it's always really fun too, because working with fitness athletes is different than working with any other division. You know,
I
we're
don't
still.
think you've ever worked with a fitness athlete.
No, you're my first.
Like, what are you
so I'm
talking
like
about?
1 for 1 with like working with fitness athletes.
You
Of
did a
like
good job.
doing good, but at the same time it is different because you can't drive them into the ground, so to speak, because she still has to do her routine like 12 hours later or something like that. You know what I mean? It's so, and it still amazes me with what they're able to do, the flips and the jumping and just how athletic they have to be while still being, you know, super low body fat. I mean, they essentially are figure athletes from a physique standpoint and conditioning with all of their athleticism. So it's a privilege to be able to help her. She's an Olympia level athlete. This is the first time I'm being able to help somebody at a caliber show like the Olympia. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and that's why, you know, I'm 100% all in to make sure that she can be at her best, because this is a year that we really feel like we have momentum for her going into the Olympia, that she should be pushing for a win. We're very confident in that.
This is definitely, I mean, like I said, I feel very confident. I care, obviously, where the outcome is, and I want to win. But going, like I went into the Arnold, like, if I don't win, I don't win. I mean, there's nothing I can do other than what I'm doing. And so, therefore, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And show up to the Olympia doing better than we did at the Arnold, which is really saying a lot, because I was really, really at my best at the Arnold. So,
yeah, now all we can control is bringing her best. And if we improve on the Arnold look, then we did our job, and we let the chips fall where they may.
and the other part of this is, like, I feel really healthy, physically, mentally. Like, everything is really in a very good spot as far as that goes. Where at the Arnold, honestly, my mental state was a little bit all over the place, because I had so much pressure on myself. As much as I say I didn't care, I cared, because I would have not like cared about anybody else, but for me, I would have definitely taken that hard on myself. So I'm not going to do that at the Olympia, because I know that I'm doing everything I can, and that's pretty much where I'm going with that, actually.
Yeah. Mentally, she's in a really good spot going into the Olympia. Stress is low. She's a full-time athlete now too, where, you know, going into the Arnold, she was still, you know, working a 9 to 5. So now being able to just focus on her career as an athlete is speaking volumes for her physique and what she's been able to do.
We're gonna kill it.
Yeah. All right, that's good.
Yeah,
That was
this
a lot.
video is gonna be long, but
Yeah.
thank you guys for staying tuned, because I haven't given you guys updates, and we're gonna get Louis to do some more videos as we get to the Olympia. But for now, adios, guys. It's been enough of me.